So I'm a neuroacoustic producer and holistic practitioner. I make medical grade music for people who have tried it all and are still unable to sleep at all at night due to chronic pain and stress. I'm at a crossroads of where to focus my marketing. If you were building a movement around music that heals, would you start by marketing to the messengers, coaches, facilitators, or therapists, or the masses, the stressed, the hurting, the seekers? Right. And from my website, I'd like to consolidate everything into one spot. Currently testing a few different platforms, and it feels disconnected. Can I get away with using Substack as my landing page with a direct URL? Okay, a few questions here. So this, for people who can't sleep due to chronic pain and stress. Great. Very clear niche. It's not just can't sleep, but can't sleep for these reasons. So good. The first thing let's talk about is if you were building a movement around music that heals, I wouldn't try. I think this idea of building a movement is misguided in the end, because I've seen it come up a lot because, it's this kind of thinking of like, well, Martin Luther King Jr. created the civil rights movement, but he didn't. There was a civil rights movement that he grew out of, that he participated in, that he contributed to. And so similarly with this, there's already a movement for music that heals. There's tons of stuff out there around music that heals. So to me, then it would be you join into that. If there's an existing movement, get on board. And but then it's like, okay, what's the role I can play in this movement that's missing? What are other people maybe not doing that I could be doing? Then do you go to the masses or do you go to the messengers? This is one of those you kind of have to try. But I would say this, for everybody, it's really worth thinking, who are the early adopters? Like for technology, there's always this curve of like early adopters, to the laggards. So you got these people that are like the innovators. They're like the first ones to get the new iPhone. And then you've got people who are still clutching to their rotary phone. But it's a bit of a bell curve. Most people are in the middle. Some people are real Luddites. Some people are just always on the front leading edge of tech. And they get the technology before they even should. It's like not even totally working, but they just want to know the newest cool thing. So similarly, there are going to be people in terms of healing who are sort of early adopters of this. They're the people who are like, there's some people who eventually would get onto the sound healing thing. But this is going to be in 20 years, they're going to be looking at it. And then there's other people who are like, I'm going to be the first one in on this. And those are the people to reach. Because these are the mistake is when people try to, I think, reach the masses first, because actually the way it usually works is the masses hear about it from these people. Like these are the people that push it through. We've all got our nerd friends, in various scenes who they tell us who the cool new bands are. They tell us what the cool new tech is. Oh, here's the cutting edge thing in this field. Even on political issues. Hey, here's what's happening with this political issue. And those are the people we turn to be informed. And so I think most people kind of get those. Like most cities have their, there's 10 people in the holistic scene that are kind of the main hubs. And they do all the events. They host all the big things. And so if they are like, hey, I've discovered this cool new thing, people listen to them more. Now, that's not to say you can't do marketing to the masses. That might just work. But the thing I would beg of everybody, find somebody who knows what they're doing on those kinds of ads. You want to hire an expert, because trying to do it on your own, the algorithm is opaque. Nobody knows what it is. And it's extremely difficult to do properly and to not just waste money on it hand over fist. And especially using ads to sell directly to people is rough. Growing an email list with ads or, here's a freebie, great. But in terms of selling, it's a bit of a different strategy. It could be the kind of thing where it's like, hey, here are the top 5 holistic approaches to sleeping, people who have trouble sleeping. And so there could be a meta ad for that. And it's like, hey, I'm going to send you this like a 10-minute video where I'm going to walk through the upsides and downsides of all the holistic approaches, or like the top 5 major approaches to sleep troubles or something like this. I don't know. Sometimes you can find a hook like that where it's not just a pitch for your thing, but here's some valuable information. You say, yeah, here's the upsides, here's the downsides. And then, hey, the 5th one is there's this sound thing and nobody thinks about it, but here's the upside and there are downsides of it. It's not perfect. Here's what it doesn't do, but it does do these things. And, so you might do something like that where it's an educational piece, but then the general is, so when people sign up for your, let me just pull this up here. So when people sign up for my starter kit,
I know it's Ted Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies. Thank you so much for signing up to the ethical.
That's what happens. So they go to this page, right? It says, hey, the ethical marketing starter kit that you just signed up for is on its way to your inbox. While it's being delivered, check out this exclusive training, and then there's an offer. So you can do that where there's a freebie, but there's immediately what's called a handshake offer, just like, hey, well, since you're here. And so I've picked, the problem of how to articulate what you do. And then I put together an offer for that. It's like, hey, it's normally $140, but you can get it for $50. So save $90. So when people are joining the email list, they get that. So you could do that where it's like, hey, but doing the add to a free thing is just so much more likely, I think. But I don't know. That's not my specialty. The meta ads, I think there are people who do ads straight to a low ticket item, and that can work too. I'm not an expert in it. So the main thing is make sure you find somebody who knows what they're doing there. And otherwise, then to me, it's the hubs. Then to me, it's like if you were to just focus on sleep coaches, for example, there's a whole field of people who do sleep coaching, and you reach out to them, you're like, hey, I've got this thing. Can I pitch it to you? Like, this may not be a fit for all your clients, but maybe, and then you could do an affiliate thing. Hey, if any of your clients sign up for this, you can get a cut on that. You might just do great business with that. That's probably where I would start. But you go to them and say, hey, would you email your list about this? And anyone who signs up through you or with this code or to this link, you'll get this cut of money. And here's all the swipe copy. So another example of a page, when people are interested in hosting my signature workshop, hour-long presentation, they get sent to this page. So, hey, the 7 Fundamentals of Ethical Marketing Masterclass, here's your resources. So first of all, here's where you can book the date. Here's some cut and paste promotional emails that you can use to promote it. Edit as you like. Here's some social media posts. Edit as you like, cut and paste. Here's some promo images that you can use. Here's my bio and headshots that you can use. Here's a preview of the workshop. This is an hour-long version. Here's the recording of it. Here's a 10-minute summary if you're too busy. Here's the write-up. Here's the workbook. And here's some links that you can use to promote what you're doing. And then here's some testimonials. So we're just trying to collect these, what previous hosts have said. So somebody who's thinking about hosting can see so then what you could do with promos is you say, hey, how was the promo? Did you get any feedback? Yeah. And get them to write, it's like, hey, I just promoted Mike's thing. He made it so easy. I made $600. I made $1,000 from that email. And I've been getting really rave reviews from my clients, and Mike's making me look good like this. And so then you're a sleep coach, and you go to this page and you see maybe a few other sleep coaches you recognize, like, well, shit. Okay. Yeah. If they say it's good, then it's good. So there's that kind of a thing, but I would tend to focus on the messengers. I just think it's higher leverage again, unless you can find somebody can show you and it feels very confident, says, look, somebody like you, I can make you a fortune. And here's people just like you that I've done that for. And those people may be out there, in which case I would say all blessings. It's great. And then last question is about can you just send them to Substack? Could be. I don't know. I've never tried, so I don't have a strong opinion on that. But I mean, a lot of these things, just start with something, just roll with something for now. And then you may find it doesn't work and you got to change it. But the simpler we can keep this stuff, the better overall. Take care.